All right, so we have a controversial subject to talk about today, and it's your kids don't need more consequences. They need accountability. And no, it's not the same thing. Right now, every expert in the world is telling you to offer stricter consequences, more boundaries, and to follow through with patience and kindness. But that's not accountability. That's control. And today we're going to show you how to teach your kids accountability. Welcome to the Learn to Speak Kid podcast. We are Bonnie and
Thomas Liotta.
Yes, and we help parents and educators transform the most defiant child behavior without mind-altering medication, years of therapy that just takes you in circles, or any type of harsh punishment. And today we're going to talk about teaching kids accountability. Before we get to the solution, let's talk about what is accountability and what is a consequence. And first and foremost, when we talk about a consequence, if you don't do this, you're not going to get that. Or, oh, you've been such a good little boy, let me give you a reward, right? So either as a bribe or a takeaway, and both of these lead to one thing, and that's called control. So, Tom, you worked with thousands of kids in your after-school program, and you did the opposite of control. So talk about accountability in your after-school program before we brought it to parenting.
What if the approach could just be as simple as reversing the battery in the remote? And what we're looking at is the child has an action that they don't even know.
Right.
But what if they could have the awareness that when I punch something or I hit something, the goal that I'm going after, that action means that I'm saying no thank you to it. I'm like giving my goal away. You see, the power must be in the child's hands and lap and mind, not abstract with, I don't even know what to do and this kind of thing. So a consequence is something that you impose because you see, smell, taste, touch, hear something you don't like. So you take something away thinking that a negative plus negative somehow is going to be positive. But when the child starts at zero with basic food, clothes, and shelter, so all their needs are met. And when my action goes, when I do this, more of what I want happens. And a simple example would be is I would like more light. Hey, Monkey. And then you magically go, oh my gosh, it's light. When in reality, if I could get up, flip the switch, and I created the light. That's what's missing in parenting today.
Yeah.
It's not a consequence. It's actually empowerment.
Right. We had a parent whose kid played with the thermostat, and the parents were touching the thermostat, and the kid was touching the thermostat. And the kid would always get in trouble for touching the thermostat. Now, inside of a child's mind, doesn't it make sense? You're doing it. Okay. But I do it, and I'm in trouble. Doesn't this relate in a child's mind like, what's wrong with me? Mm-hmm. Something's wrong with me. I must not be who they want me to be. It's not okay to be me. And now the child has a little seed inside the soul called unworthiness. And, parents, you're listening to this episode, go back to when you were 12 or 13. Did you not experience some little seed inside your soul that was called unworthy? But you see, if you come from my generation, we got beat, right? We got beat with the stick. We got spankings, and it was very harsh punishment back then. And over the last 50 years or so, it's gone from, let's say the last 80 years or so, it's gone from beating to what other kind of harsh punishment, yelling, to dragging kids over to timeouts. And now we're in 2026, And all the advice is just be gentle and kind. It's kind of like giving parents a dull axe and telling them their job is to go cut down the trees in the forest. And you're chopping and chopping and chopping and chopping with this dull axe. You're doing the best that you can to be a gentle and kind parent, but it's backfiring. It's not working. The trees are not falling over. And you go to the experts and you're like, okay, I've been chopping and chopping. I've been doing everything you're telling me to do, but this tree's still not falling over. Just be patient and kind and take this very ineffective tool to your full-time job and enjoy. It's like, what if you found a chainsaw? And that's what Creating Champions for Life is to parenting. It's the chainsaw, a sharpened chainsaw. It's the kind of tool that you could take out to the forest and go zing, 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 zing. Not easy, but very simple. Because we're, like you said, Tom, we're turning the batteries around from double negative to double positive, from consequences to accountability, from you're in trouble to what you do, little Timmy, has an equal and opposite effect. I love you either way. It's the most loving, most accepting, most empowering parenting philosophy I've ever found in my life. And that's why we're here spreading the word, right? Because parents need to learn about it too.
Now, you made a very key point there. Sharpened chainsaw.
Correct.
See, the missing life skill is how to sharpen the axe or chainsaw. Now, I kid you not, a grown man, I met him. He got a chainsaw, and when it went dull, guess what he did? He makes lots of money, so he went and bought another chain for the chainsaw.
Right.
This is like buying a new tire when it just needs air in it, and I don't know how to put air in it. So it gets very expensive, parents, Nori S. And so when we can just know that there's a missing life skill that we as big kids, maybe adults, are missing also. And what Learn to Speak Kid is it allows us to find the one missing life skills that we missed, because when we have it, then we can now pass on, oh, so this axe is supposed to get dull, and when it does, I take time to sharpen it, and then I get back on track the way God intended for us to prepare the offspring versus postpone the inevitable.
Yes, absolutely. There's nothing more powerful in this world when a child starts to realize I'm in control of my body and my actions. And parents, like, this is so important because the whole statement, can't you just control your child? The whole idea or concept of trying to control another human being, even if we call them children, is a complete illusion. There's no way that we ever could or ever will be able to control a human spirit. And that's why back in the olden days, kids left the house at like 11 or 12 and they were adults. They were off living their lives, building their own property. They weren't eating all their parents' food at the age of 16, laying on the couch playing video games. It's like, it's a totally different world. So basically, parents, this is going to be really hard for you to get off this podcast and go like, apply it into your life today. So let's just say that this is all about awareness today. Awareness that threatening your child, coming in, taking things away, taking them to timeouts, lecturing them, doing all of these things is just don't feel good. It's just negative energy. Jesus even said you can't get figs from a thorn bush. What did Kung Fu Panda say? It was something about a peach seed.
Well, if I plant a peach seed, it's not going to be an apple tree.
Correct.
So it's a promise from our Creator.
Right.
That whatever I sow, I'm promised to reap.
Right. So, but the kids need to learn respect and they need to learn rules. Well, of course they do, but how are we actually preparing them with these skills? Are we yelling at them? You need to speak to me with respect. That's very disrespectful. Or are we actually going, maybe I've never taken the time to show my child what respect actually looks like. And maybe I've never shown my child what respect earns him in this whole universal truth of sowing and reaping, or cause and effect. When the children start at zero, like every single mammal on the planet every morning starts at zero, They need to get up and be running because the lions need to hunt and the hyenas need to protect their life, right? So either way, you're up and running in the morning. The birds, God promises to feed them, but they need to get out of the nest to go hunt for the worms. And here's the truth. The reason that we believe children should grow up in some sort of fantasy land is because of propaganda. Just because the whole world is bought into this lie doesn't make it the truth. Children don't want to grow up in a fantasy land. They want the truth. Show me the truth of how the world works. Show me how I can be the one to flip on the light switch. Show me how I can be the one to touch the thermostat. Show me how I can be the one to put my own coat and shoes away. When they have, for the first 5 years of their life, been able to just come in and drop their coat and drop their shoes, and then suddenly, when they start school at the age of 6, it's like, put your shoes away, put your coat away. Now we start having these expectations, or all of a sudden they're 15, it's like, well, you need to start cooking for yourself, but nobody's ever taken the time to show them how to cook for themselves. Is this all making sense? I know I'm ranting, but it's important stuff.
Well, you have a very strong message and mission to the world, Bonnie, so I love your passion.
Well, thank you.
So the game can be as simple as this. Monkey see, monkey do. Demonstrate with duct tape on, so you can actually play the game the way it was designed, because nobody was talked into walking, and talk is cheap. However, when the genius offspring, or the kid, or even us, when I know that my choices, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I get shown all of it, full disclosure. This is how you live, this is how you die, this is how you get by. Whatever choice that I choose, I'm promised the exact result, the effect. Like the seed. Peach, I'm not going to get apples. There's no trickery. So when I know that my choices create a good, bad, or an ugly outcome, then I'm actually learning how to prepare to leave on my own. Because in chapter 1, knowing your role, question number 4, right there in the book, you ask this powerful question. How well would my little genius offspring be able to do when I cease to exist in their life? Doesn't mean die, but they're all by themselves. And this test that we have, can they get to the car and inside with the seatbelt on all by themselves? Well, what age should I get that one done? And so that's the game. Their choice creates Y outcome, X to Y. It doesn't take long for us to know that whatever I do, I create, and I am a co-creator made in the image of my creator.
Correct.
And that's
so are the kids. So are the kids. So are the kids. We are all created in the image of our creator. That means the kids were created in the image of our creator, absolutely born perfect in every way. But we have been conditioned as a society to pummel them into the ground. We stopped beating them physically and started beating them mentally. And we went from a fear-based society, that's our elders today because they grew up in fear, to a completely lost, out of control, entitled, welfare-raised society. If you are a queen or king parent listening to this, and this made sense to you, make sure to like it, share it with a friend, share a comment below or a question if you're questioning what we're talking about here. Doesn't it just make sense? If you're coming in constantly correcting in the moment with consequences, or you're coming in going, okay, what you just did there, little lady, this is called a lie. Let me role play with you what telling the truth looks like and what outcome you can expect. Let me role play with you what happens when you lie and people lose trust in you, and you can choose accordingly what outcome you would like. Isn't that so empowering?
Just a +1 before we go. If you want a lot of friends, we tell the truth.
Yeah.
That's their creation.
Right.
And if I want less friends, I start to lie. Whichever one, that free will, truth or lie, comes from the child and ourselves, whichever one we pick will produce that fruit. every single time. So there's no mystery to this.
Correct.
Full disclosure, there's the game. There's always 3 options to everything, and whatever you pick, you're going to get.
Yeah.
So if you don't like what you're getting, change the cause. And if you don't know what to change the cause is, that's why our program has the 12 missing principles that my personal life has shared with thousands of kids because they too were missing them. But when they got them, everything went right back the way it was designed, and so can you.
Yeah.
So we either don't know how or you don't want to.
Correct.
And we're looking for the ones that don't know how, because the ones that don't want to, you're probably not even here to start with.
Correct. So here's your action step. The next time you want to go in with some sort of negative consequence or a threat of a negative consequence, take the time to demonstrate the good, the bad, and the ugly. Doing no homework says, I choose to give away my video game time today. Doing a little bit of homework says, I get a little bit of time, maybe 15 minutes of video game time today. And doing all your homework, well, that gets you all of the whole hour of video game time today, or whatever it is your parent approved plan. The whole point is to stop with the negative consequences already. It's just going to produce power struggles, arguments, and negative outcomes. And start by teaching your children the truth about cause and effect, the truth about they reap what they sow. It's all up to them. Teach your children, I am in control of my body and my actions. Mom, Dad, you be in control of your body and your actions, and everybody can come together and work in perfect harmony like a fine-tuned Swiss watch. So with all that being said, until we meet again,
here's to our parenting success. Cheers, everyone.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.